Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, elder candidate at Redeemer Fellowship.
I
hate you.
Elder candidate.
I hate you.
Oh, by the end of October.
October
I'm gonna
2018.
Yeah, no kidding. Because no way.
I
it's
said
the longest
October.
elder candidacy ever.
Nope. My brother right over here is 3 years. Woo!
All right. Well, I don't know what that's all. I can't speak into that process. Well, you could have been done. You're just too busy.
I'm too
goofing
busy
around.
Goofing around.
Dude,
I'm loving my family.
All he's got to do
taking
is
care of
write like a systematic theology.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what he complains about demonology? Oh, I got to do demonology.
Well, I had to study it. I would no. Not all of us grew up as Satanists. Boom goes the dynamite.
All right. That's fair. All right, so listen, the conference is over.
We're done.
But we're doing another live one.
One more live
because
one.
apparently just us goofing around is more interesting than our preaching. Then
Yeah,
they said,
I guess so. They're like,
you
hey,
guys
shorten up your messages.
stop
is what they
preaching
said.
and just
preaching.
throw up the mics. And
I don't remember them asking Dr. Renahan that. They're just like,
No, let him go.
longer. You
longer.
guys shorten, and go. Keep going.
Yeah.
keep going.
That's
Well,
all
that's
right.
fine. I get it. We all understand.
And so we've had, what have we had? We've had some terrible pizza. We had the Satan's pizza down the street.
Yeah, we went to hell, and the biggest sin was the pizza sucked.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That
was some
horrible.
cheap.
That was the sin of the
That was
place.
some broke jank pizza. We're from Chicago. We have a lot of good pizza, and that was pretty bad.
No,
and
that was
we got rebuked online for eating Satan's pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody got really upset.
Someone got really
They're not
upset.
listening to
They're
Doc and Devo anymore.
So, yeah.
They've had enough.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right.
We disgust them.
Yeah, that's right. That was the word.
That was the word.
He's disgusted.
You disgust.
We probably made him throw up in his mouth a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Throw up. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So, what else did we do? We had burgers. We had
burgers. Actually, the burgers were really good. What was the name of that place? No one else. I don't know. There was like the
It's right down. Everybody's
right down the
Benny.
thing. Benny.
What's it called?
Ecom?
I can't understand their accent.
Yeah.
Can you? I don't know what they're saying. All right. But
no,
anyways, it was really
that
good.
was good. The burger was good. Probably one of the best burgers I've had.
Oh, stop.
No, it was really
Okay.
good.
All right, you're overselling it now.
Okay.
It's not the best burger.
It
you've
was.
ever had.
It was.
Okay.
The guacamole was good. The salsa was good. Everything was good on it. I had the Big John.
All right.
See,
So-
look, this is the cynicism of Joe.
No, because
he can't enjoy it. It's because
it's not
I
the
enjoyed
best burger.
something.
It's not,
I enjoyed
I'm glad
something.
you enjoyed
Now
it.
all of a
You're
sudden it's a
overselling
lie.
it. You're trying
It's
to
not
be
overselling.
friends. You're
Have
kissing their
you
butts.
Have you already bought the burgers there?
Are they?
I'm not
all right.
selling them anything.
No. Is it the best burger in the world?
I didn't say that. I said,
No,
I
it's
said
not
the best burger
Okay.
I've had.
Okay, well that's not true either. Come on.
How's
All
that
right.
not true?
All right,
I bet
nobody. Listen. What are we talking about?
10 ways to affirm other people?
Yeah, not each other.
What are we talking about? Now that we just said that.
10 ways to love your
To
brothers
love
and sisters.
Speaking of which, I want to thank you guys for finally affirming Joe. You
Oh, with that, yeah, that-
since yesterday, he's been whining and crying that no one clapped for him.
Yeah, I was very concerned about this.
No one clapped.
It's true.
And finally, on his last session, I think it was more because they're like, he's finally done.
Yeah, I think that was like,
He's
it
done.
was a celebratory applause.
Like, oh, come Lord.
Yeah, it was eschatological clapping.
That's
it. The end is nigh. All right, so we love the church. We love the local church.
Yep.
And we don't just love our local church. We love the church at large, and then those friends that we have, even all the way over here in New Zealand. We
Yep.
love these people. We
Absolutely.
love the church. And one of the things that we work on, not so much with each other, but outside of this relationship, we work really hard. We want to get better at loving our brothers and sisters and having an impact in their lives. And, oftentimes there's this kind of, we just tell people, we should just love each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we love lots of loving on each other.
I'm loving on you, man.
Yeah.
I'm loving on you, which is weird. Don't say that.
Don't love on people.
Don't just say, I'm loving you. You
Yeah.
can just say that. Oh, wait,
Well,
no, that doesn't sound better either.
I'm just thinking, we need to give some specifics, right? Some specific ways that love can be demonstrated.
So you mean
towards our
not
brothers.
just saying it, but actually doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's easier just to say it.
Yeah, I know. But then we wouldn't have a podcast if
Yeah,
we just...
that's it, yeah.
All right, so 10 ways to love your brothers and sisters.
All right.
We've jotted some things down here. We're working it out. You want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right, do it.
All right.
Okay, first of all, we'll say put them first, right? If you want to actually love a brother or a sister in the Lord, somebody at your church, then they should be a priority to you. Their well-being, their good. You should consider them as worthy of more honor. Philippians 2:3, right? Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. And so and John Calvin writes beautifully on this, on self-denial, right? That the call to self-denial really is meeting practicality when we have to love our neighbors, right? Loving people that aren't necessarily just like us or have our interests, not people that are always good, but we should deny ourselves in loving and benefiting other people, but specifically for the church, this is a high priority.
And I think part of that is laying aside our interests, right, and our preferences so that they can also experience God's blessings.
Yeah, and it's not that like, well, I'm going to put them first because I'm a loser and I don't matter. That's not what we're saying.
Well, I mean, for you that happens.
Okay, but it's not always for everybody that way. Maybe for me sometimes. It is more that
most times
I have warm feelings and a desire to see someone else be cared for, blessed, lifted up. Mm-hmm. So we put them and their interests ahead of our own. Again, not because we're self-loathing, but because we actually care for them. So putting others first, we'll start with that one.
But I think also then it's seeking their good. I think 1 Thessalonians 5:15, always seek to do good to one another. So it's more than just put someone else first, but it's about seeking their good, because at least oftentimes for me and for Joe, our first thing to do if we were to put each other first is to kind of just terrorize each other. It's like more like a self-destruction that we kind of go on.
You can put somebody first, and that can be the wrong thing if you're just putting them first.
So it has to be something that you want to seek their good, you want to seek their betterment, you want to seek their advancement, you want to seek their flourishing.
Right. So you got to ask the question, right? How can I help my brother or sister do well? Right? How can I specifically serve them so that they prosper in faith, in life? So it's got to be like,
I like that. It's not okay. So there's the two things. It's one about how do we help them physically, which I think is good.
Yep.
But it's also the aspect of how do we help them grow in their relationship with God? How do we help them grow in their marriage? How do we help them grow as husbands and as wives in the home?
And you're not going to be able to seek their good unless you have a relationship with them, unless you're in community with them, because that's the only context in which you're going to know what they need, right?
You mean I just can't speak into somebody else's life without having any clue of what's going on?
On the internet, you can. You're allowed.
Apparently. I mean, have you ever been to the Reform Pub? That's the one place that you're allowed to do that any time of day. The Reform Pub is just like this. Never mind, I'm out. I actually like less.
Right, listen, why don't you seek their good right now?
I'm going to seek their good by not saying anything else about
over there. All right. A third thing that is going to be really important for us to do, and I know I've had to do this. Most of us probably should have to do it
a lot,
this,
but go ahead.
Is to ask for forgiveness
Yep.
When we sin against our brother or a sister, and to forgive them when they sin against us. It is really easy for people to just try and let things blow over. Jimmy and I fight. We have arguments.
No, and I know, like, sometimes people listen and they go, okay, is this just fake or banter? All that, like, a lot of that's real.
Yeah.
But what you don't hear is the
real fight.
The real fights.
Yeah.
Where we get, well, Joe is kind of passive aggressive.
No, I'm not. I'm just aggro.
No, you're
I'm not
passive aggressive.
No.
You get quiet and you're just like,
and
then you start doing this look and you're like, okay,
whatever.
And I
don't sound like a cartoon character when I say it, though.
Okay. Yeah, you do.
Right.
Okay. And see, here he is. There it comes. Here comes passive aggressive Joe. That's it. That's what I get.
Right.
Even actually on the car ride.
I know we had a fight on the car ride. Hey, by the way, who was wrong?
Okay, I was wrong. but it was so awkward. We're in the back of the car, the taxi, and we're fighting.
Yeah.
And the driver is just kind of looking at the
Keeps eyeballing us in the mirror.
Eyeballing us. And so finally, I forgave Joe.
No, you figured out that you were
sin.
wrong, and it's okay. I appreciate that. So we got to ask for forgiveness when we do the wrong thing. I've had to do that to Jimmy, and people should have to do that. But honestly, like, forgiving other people is just as critical, right? You have to be. It's easy for us to hold a grudge, and like a lot of us feel like if I get burned by somebody, like they're out. Like, I'm out. I don't want to talk to them. I'm not going to trust them. And there's definitely consequences for action. Sometimes you can't have a fully restored relationship with people because of some certain situations or sins. But certainly the need to deal with the sin problem, head on, and address it and seek to reconcile together should be a priority. And we shouldn't take the tactic of, well, you know what? We don't have to talk about it. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We'll just chill out, calm down.
But then part of that forgiveness then is not holding it over them or bring it up later on podcasts about how when someone's wrong.
Yeah. Or the fight that they had in the car,
Yeah, people shouldn't do that.
You did it. You started it.
All right.
What about
next
number 4?
Then, should we listen? We should be listening to them.
Huh?
James 1:19 says, be quick to hear, right? So loving people means love listens. I mean, it wouldn't be loving to my wife. It wouldn't be loving to Joe. It wouldn't be loving to my neighbors or to my CG, where all I do is speak, but actually not take the time to listen to what's going on in their life and their opinion and what's happening to them.
Why do we I know sometimes certain people they talk a lot, and
why are you pointing at me?
I'm not. I'm
gesturing. I saw
gesturing.
8 fingers like this.
Okay, I'm thinking about my wife. All right,
Whoa.
so Jen.
Whoa.
No, she's fine. She's fine.
Jen
she's
is
fine.
not.
No.
Okay.
Jen, like most women.
No.
Like most women. No, it's fine. No. It's fine. You're gonna agree.
On your own.
Agree.
You're on your own.
Sometimes the ladies.
Nope.
Give a lot of detail in the stories that they tell. General rule, right?
I'm out.
All right, so I got.
No, you're on your own. Every guy here is like, nope.
No, the girl,
the single guy just said true.
Yeah. All right. See. All right. So, ladies sometimes, and my wife in particular, she'll hey, what's going on? And so she'll tell me the story, and I'm like, oh, okay. Get to the thing. I don't need this is nice, but just get to the thing. Tell me the thing so we can go, okay, cool, and deal with it and move on. But
Jen, I appreciate your stories, just so you know.
Oh, she didn't tell you the story.
Oh, she tells me stories.
She didn't tell you stories.
Oh, she tells me.
I have to actually force myself, right, to say, hey, it's not about you, it's about this person. If you
have to force yourself to listen to your wife?
Yeah, I don't want to listen to you. I want to listen to myself. I don't want to listen to other people. I'm being honest.
Okay, yeah, please be honest.
So we actually have to put effort into listening to people, to not just to better understand them, so that they felt understood, but so that we can better minister to them.
And I think that's the key there, because I think it's condescending. It's condescending to just only listen so that the person thinks that they're being heard,
right.
But it's actually to engage in the situation. It's actually to help seek their betterment and to seek them moving forward, right?
Right, I think so. So listening, really, really important. And honestly, I think also, just as I'm thinking about it, there are certain kinds of people that we might be quick to tune out, right? Maybe the person that comes, the needy person who's always coming up, right? And we want to just say hey, I ain't got time for this. Let's, they bother me every Sunday, or they bother me every Wednesday, or whatever it is.
Yeah, Pat is his name.
No, Pat is not. We love Pastor Pat, but there are people like that, especially in church plant situations. You get a lot of needy people, and while you have to be creative and careful with putting limits and boundaries on people in general, I think we need to press ourselves to listen more carefully, so that we can better respond. All right, number 5, I'll say that to actively love our brothers and sisters, we should seek to include them in our lives, include them in our interests. It's the whole hospitality thing in 1 Peter 4:9. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling. Jimmy.
No,
all right.
I don't think that part is canonical. Right?
That's a later manuscript.
That's a revision, I believe, right, Dr. Renahan? That was a revision. It says, show hospitality to one another.
It doesn't say without grumbling.
In the oldest we're allowed to grumble, right?
Yeah. No, we're not. So.
Play along, Dr. Renahan.
Okay. Yeah, see? Thank you. That's right. Yeah, that's right. He saw my endorsement for Richard Barcelos' book. He knows what's up. We're on the same team.
No one cares.
We're on the same team.
Do you need to fix anything in his last message, Dr.
Listen,
Renahan, while we're here?
So when we're talking about hospitality, people think that we're extroverts because we have a podcast or we preach.
Oh, we're going to be honest about this now, huh?
We're going to be honest.
All right.
What would you rather be doing right now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm. Be honest. Tell the truth.
I'd rather be sitting by myself, smoking a cigar, watching a show.
Yeah.
That's really honest.
So we love people. We love the church. We go. That's what God calls us to. But it's, again, like listening. Right? I have to force myself to live. We have to force ourselves to include other people into our lives, to invite them into our homes, because it's just not natural.
No, I really don't like it. My wife is really good at this. She invites people all the time to our house, and I'm like, I don't want my neighbors here. Because all they're doing is drinking my beer, and they're drinking my bourbon. I'm like, that's my bourbon, that's my beer, those are my cigars. Don't be. But that's supposed to be my fortress of solitude. It's
Superman reference.
Good job, dude. I'm proud of you.
A little presumptive. No, that's all right. But here's the thing: you're actually, even though it's not natural to you,
now you're just being rude. Now you're just being rude.
You see how you
fist bump. Fist bump.
I'm not going to cave. I'm not going to cave to
this. Fist bump. Oh, he's turning red. Joe's turning red. No. Yeah! But no, I
Okay.
would rather be by myself.
But here's the thing. You're actually, even though you're not naturally inclined to it, you're actually very good at it. And like you've had an impact in your neighborhood, like deep, like all the way through your neighborhood.
Well, God has, to God be the glory.
Okay, all right, yeah, that's nice. But you have had a big impact, and people love coming over. They love seeing you, and they hanging out. So it's not like
It's actually been, a
you
lot
do
of
it
it's been
without
Michelle.
grumbling. You do it without grumbling, though. Like you may, inside your heart, you might grumble a little bit.
Yeah.
But honestly, like you've been received well by receiving other people well in your neighborhood, and so like the idea of including people in our lives, for some people who are extroverts, that might be a bit easier. For some people who are introverts, it's going to be a little bit harder. But you can't have the impact that you're supposed to have in loving and all those one another passages, right? You've got to have them included in your life.
So it's important within the church and within your community groups that you're looking to see who's not involved. Find out who's not involved or who's not known by others, and extend that hand, right? Extend that welcome to them to share in the joy that you and your friends and your church are having.
Yeah. All right, what else you got?
Oh, be generous. 2 Corinthians 9:11. You will be enriched in every way to be generous in every way, right? So God has given you, this is one of those things that I've had to wrestle with for a long time, is that, God gives us good gifts. And, yes, they're for our enjoyment, but I also believe they're for the enjoyment of others. Right? And so we want to bless others. We want to take care of others. We want to encourage them and to take care of them when possible. And I think using wisdom and discernment in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the whole idea of generosity is a gospel issue, right? Like God is so generous, He's so benevolent, He's so kind, every good gift. And I think we can couple that with the idea of sacrifice, right? So you love your brothers and your sisters through sacrifice. And so let's connect them, because like generosity could be sort of, I don't know, twisted for your own. Like if you can be generous where it's easy for you to be generous. And then not so generous in other areas where you should be. Like, so people that might have a lot of dough would say, I'd rather give money than give my time. I don't want to give my time, I'd rather give my money. Or
and
vice versa.
So what you're saying is it's more than just the finances, right?
Yeah.
There's other resources. There's giving of yourself and of your time, as well as your possessions and finances.
Right. So the generosity, like the real generosity is giving sacrificially.
Yeah.
We deny ourselves. We go beyond what maybe somebody even asks. And once we know what their real need is, even if we don't want to part with that initially, we know that the sacrifice, right? It's going to hurt. It's going to sting for me to give and for me to help somebody. So let's couple those: be generous and sacrifice.
Okay. What about tell the truth?
There you go. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah,
here we go.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that's a good one.
No. Ephesians 4:25. Let each one of you stop. Let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. So love doesn't lie, right? I think sometimes we think about like little white lies and not, if someone's struggling or sinning, we'd rather sometimes not say anything than to kind of confront. And I think there's the issue of telling the truth, but then also speaking into situations, even when it's uncomfortable.
Right. I think the need to correct or rebuke, and we've had to do that to each other. Pastors at our church have had to do it. We had to do it with members. I mean, that should be a normal thing, right?
Yeah.
We need to be corrected, pushed back, like, hey, you crossed the line, or your attitude's a little off. Like,
or Joe's being a baby or something like that.
No, I think we know.
We all know who the baby is.
You're the baby, I'm the jerk. That's what we've typically established in our arguments. You're being a baby and I'm being a jerk.
That's true.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
So I think it's fair to say that love won't lie. I love that you said that. Love won't lie.
Yeah.
It's going to tell the truth, even if it's hard, even if it means making the relationship uncomfortable for a time, because ultimately the truth should help them.
I think it's really unloving when we don't tell the truth, right? Like, I think if someone's sinning and they're kind of living in a way that is displeasing to God, right? Like if there's something that you're concerned about in their life, I think it's the most unloving and the most selfish thing that we can do is to keep quiet. Right, I think love corrects, it rebukes.
It has the right motive.
It has the right motive behind it, right? And so,
you know why we don't I think we don't tell people, like, okay, we see somebody and maybe your friend is out and everybody's hanging out, and you notice, wow, that guy had a little too much to drink.
Yeah,
maybe he crossed the line in there somewhere. But it's easier to go like, well, I won't pay attention. I won't see it.
Yeah.
Like I don't. And sometimes we're like, well, I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to make it uncomfortable or awkward.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll be fine. Like, he won't do that again.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just, we have all of these reasonings in our heads for not going and dealing with it at some point. Maybe not that night, but maybe the next day to doing that. So I think I like when you say like love won't lie. It's got to be love that's pushing it, because otherwise we'll tell the truth just to hurt people. We'll tell that we'll say
Reform
it's the
pub. Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much.
All right.
Reform
You're
pub.
so mean.
What do you mean I'm so mean? I'm speaking the truth, am I not?
Okay, but not with love.
Not with love, okay, yeah.
All right, so tell the truth. Also, I would say if we're going to actually love our brothers and sisters, then we have to encourage them with the gospel. Definitely we hang out, we have common interests or whatever, we share meals together. But like you said, love doesn't lie. Love doesn't flatter either.
Yeah.
Like love will actually encourage people, like with gospel truths. It will build people up. Like biblical encouragement is really a kind of preaching, right? So exhort one another today, as long as it is called today. This idea of we ought to be preaching to one another and exhorting one another in scriptural truths, biblical truths, gospel truths, so that people can see Christ more clearly and begin to follow him. And I think that here's what I find. I find that if I encourage people to say, hey, start sharing what God is teaching in your life to the people around you.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it because they don't want to come off like a weirdo. They don't want to come off like, well, you should be listening to me because God's teaching me so much and I have so much to offer. They feel self-conscious about sharing. And then when I say, okay, well, flip it, ask them what God is teaching them, then they don't want to do that because that person probably isn't reading their Bible and they're going to have nothing to say and everything's going to get awkward. So I think we have to take the initiative to say, I am going to share scriptural truths with people whenever the context is appropriate, whenever there's an open opportunity. I'm just going to go ahead and share. And one of the easiest things that I tell people is just when people ask you, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? That's a common thing. Just share them. Okay, everybody see what he's doing?
Stop.
Do it again.
No.
He, when he has something to say, he does this.
Stop.
So he doesn't forget what he has to say.
I got something. Just keep going.
Okay. So I say, like, you should go ahead and actually say, well, things have been going good. I've been struggling a bit with something, but here's what God's been teaching me in the meantime. So it's very personal. You're not pointing at them saying this is what you need to hear. You're just sharing what God is doing in your life. So you can encourage them with the gospel by sharing what God is doing in you.
But I think also along with that, with encouraging them with the gospel, you're talking about those that are already believing. But I think a way we love one another is sharing the gospel with non-believers, right? I think it's easy to keep silent there because we don't want to come off weird, or we don't want to, especially with family and friends, we don't want to maybe cause something that, they might look at us differently. But I think to truly love them, I mean, we want them to know the grace and forgiveness that's and salvation that's only found in Christ. I mean, that's the most loving thing that we could share with another person.
Except we're talking about loving brothers and sisters in Christ.
Yeah, but
so it's not really relevant. It's not germane.
It's
not germane to the conversation.
It's relevant. Right. It's relevant. I'm putting it out there.
All right. What's number 10?
Well, pray for them.
Okay.
Pray for them. James 5:16, pray for one another. If you love your brothers and sisters, you're going to pray for them. You're going to think about them. You're going to want to ask God and plead with God to be with them, to change them, to convict them, to encourage them, and in the situations that they're facing.
Right. And one of the ways that we encourage people to do this back home is because you just say pray for people, and they're like, okay, I guess I'll pray for them. Write a list, like what do they do? We tell people to pray for others, to pray with others, and to pray over others. Right. So if you can think about it that way, you're going to be praying for people. That means you pay attention to them, you're listening to them, and you pray for them throughout the week or on a particular day, however you got it going on. But then you can pray with them, right? So you pray for them, you pray with them when they're together. Say, hey, let's pray. Maybe you'll have that opportunity. But then sometimes, like maybe they'll feel a little awkward. Maybe they're the kind of person like, I don't really feel like I can pray out loud. Just pray over them. Everybody is receptive to this, either because they're just deer in the headlights and they don't know what to say, so they're just going to let you do it, or they're going to receive it well when you say, hey, can I pray for you? Right now, you just told me this thing, you're really hurting or you're really in need. Let me pray for you. So they'll let you put your hand on them and you pray for them right there. That builds a culture of prayer in your own life and in the church as it spreads.
So then, Joe, as we're wrapping up here, like, what are some resources that you would suggest to people?
When you're talking about this kind of thing, I would say it's in the institutes, but you can go on to iTunes, and John Calvin on self-denial is free. Read that. You can just get it for free. Jonathan Edwards, Charity and Its Fruits. That's a good one. What about you? There you go.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Love.
Jim Renahan, True Love? What'd you say? I couldn't hear you. I heard Renahan.
Yeah.
Yeah, True Love. There you go. Jonathan Edwards, Charity and Its Fruit. And, Stetzer, Compelled by Love.
The most excellent way of missional living.
I love it.
All right, no, don't worry about that one. Cuban Christian Love, good one too.
Don't worry about that one.
All right, Jimmy. If people want to get involved in what we're doing here online, if they what can they do? How do they support the podcast? Because listen, some podcasts just ask for money. They just straight up go, "Hey, send us money."
Send us money.
So do we do that?
Well, no.
Why not?
I'm not doing it. Not doing
okay,
it.
so what can they do to support the podcast?
Well, first, you can click through on Amazon and whatever purchases that you are making. It doesn't cost anything extra to you, but we get a little kickback off that, and that helps support the podcast, the hosting, and other supplies that we need, the websites, all that fun stuff. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo, or on Facebook /Doctrine and Devotion. You can head on the website, doctrinedevotion.com. There you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast, or you can hit the store and sign up for the 2018 Doctrine and Devotion Conference.
Buy a T-shirt.
You can buy a T-shirt.
Any journals left?
There's only a few.
All right. Get on
Yeah, we had that sale, and they're all gone.
That's good.
Pretty much all gone. So, head on over to iTunes and leave us an honest 5-star review. Fresh pod every Monday and Thursday. Blog posts on Wednesdays. Video content on Fridays. Later.